welcome to For the Birds with Richard Cole. Unfortunately, Richard couldn't make it today, but he is joining us via some of the many favorite videos that he's done over the years about great holiday gift giving. So we're going to tell you a little bit about some great gift ideas for people who love birding, and even give you some ideas for those on your list who may never have enjoyed or discovered birding yet. But whatever it is today, you will be sure to find some ideas for those in your family and people that you know as well as yourself that might like to get started with birding. So join us for all kinds of gift ideas from Cole's. And we will also show you once again our beautiful 2022 calendar. You'll be able to see scenes from that at the end of our show today. So we want to get started with one of the videos that Richard did was 5 gift ideas for people who love birding. He has all kinds of ideas in this video. This is a season of giving. So you have a few ideas, right, Richard?
Yes. I mean, everybody's trying to find gifts for all the people on their list. And if they like birds, I have 5 good suggestions.
Yep.
Just think about the 5 things, and you can pick a number of items within each group. The first one, everybody needs another feeder. If you feed birds, you've got some feeders. You can always use another feeder, especially a new feeder. And there's several kinds you can use. Tube feeders, just a slender plastic tube. Wooden feeders, nice boxy wooden feeder with a roof on it. You see them in many sizes and shapes. And platform feeders, just an open tray. And also tray feeders, which has a little dome on it and a bowl or bowl feeder you can put things in. So there's a lot of different feeders out there. And most of them can be had under $50. Makes a nice gift. And that's, everybody wants one of those. You got to have it. I don't have enough feeders, I know. So keep me in mind. Feed. Cole's Bird Food, of course, makes a great gift. If people are using the grocery store mix or the hardware store mix and they get some Cole's, they're going to love you. Or maybe not, because then they're going to be hooked on Cole's, and that's the only thing their birds are going to like. But they'll have a lot more birds, so they're going to be happy. Cole's has a wide variety of the foods, and one for each one of those types of feeders, and one for different kinds of birds. So Cole's Bird Seed, good bird food for the birds is another good gift idea. Bird houses. You can see in the summertime, the birds are going to be breeding in this area. They're going to be having young. You can watch that whole process. And like a good bluebird box is good for most birds that are going to be nested. The chickadees, the titmice, and the bluebirds are the main ones you're going to see. And so a couple of bird houses around the yard. There's different kinds. And get one that's got a decent sized hole in it. At least 2 inches, 1.5 to 2 inch hole. Birds, and cedar wood is preferred. There's some good ones made out of stone type materials that hang, but put out a couple of birdhouses for your birds. It makes a great gift for somebody too. It's almost like feeders. You can't have enough birdhouses in your yard because the birds like shopping for a home. You say, well, I don't like that one on the corner, but I like this one on the cul-de-sac, or vice versa. So if you put several around your yard, you're going to have a much better chance of attracting some nesting birds. And then, of course, there's binoculars. You've got all this. You
brought some today, your visual aid.
You've got all of this activity in your yard, and birds are small, and they're 30 or 40 feet away, and they look this big to you.
Yeah.
You can't see much. However, if you have a pair of binoculars, this right here is a small pair. I keep these in my car, actually, so you never know. Wow. Yes, you got to have a pair in the car. You never know when you're going to stop and see something. You need the binoculars to see them. But if you're going to have some, if you're going to give them for the kids or the young kids especially, probably keep the price under $50. You can find some for $30. Don't get the $10 or $11, $12 ones because they're terrible. They don't work at all. But something around $30, $40, $50 is okay. It's especially for children. You don't have a huge investment in it. And ones that are run from $50 to say $150 are pretty good binoculars. Most of them will do well for you. You'd love to have a pair by your kitchen table or wherever you're going to see the bird feeder out in the yard. And of course, you can spend up to $800 or $1,000 for binoculars. But for around the house, if you're not really into watching birds that much, but you want to see what's going on, something in, like I said, really $100 to $200 range would be great. And that's a great gift idea for the husband or wife who's there watching the birds.
It's a great gift idea.
Yeah. And you can find this type of stuff, the feeders and everything, at your local bird stores. Here locally, we have Birdwatcher Supply Company, and there's a few locations around, so you go by one of them. And the good thing about the bird stores around, people know what they're talking about there.
Right.
They can help you. You go to the depot type store or something else, and they might know, the feeders are over here, and they don't really know that much about them. But the bird stores, these people are experts. All your local bird stores can help you.
Right. And yeah, my husband and I will always shop at Birdwatcher Supply, and we have gotten so much information from them that it's just, you wouldn't want to go anywhere else because they told us how to attract bluebirds. They'll really take the time. Everybody there seems to be an expert, and they, they don't mind talking to you about it. They share that passion. Do you want to also show the tube feeder that you brought today?
And one of my favorite feeders, and probably one of the most versatile feeders you can have, is a tube feeder. This one is done by, Coles. I know these people. They're great. But this is just an excellent tube feeder, and I've mentioned this before, but it's just so easy to clean, unlike most other tube feeders. You just pop off the bottom, you can open the top, hose right through it, run a brush through it. Easy to fill, easy to clean. And this one just plain looks good, too.
What should you clean them with? What type of ingredients? I mean, should it be like soap and water?
You could use just plain soap and water. You can lay them in some water for a while. If it's really crusty, it shouldn't be that dirty inside. Just get a good bottle brush, too. You can open the top on one of these things, like I said, on this one, pop the bottom off, and you can just run a bottle brush in and out a few times and cleans it very nicely.
Have you ever washed it in the dishwasher?
No, I haven't.
I have.
But they say you can do it. I just have never done it.
Yeah, well, I'm pretty much the queen of lazy.
All right.
So,
well, how did that work?
It worked great.
Good. After you've got the feeders and you put some good seed in it, and you've got the bird houses, the birds are coming. And you got the binoculars, you can see them. What bird is that I'm looking at? Well, bird identification field guides. This is one of my favorites. There's a lot of them out there, and this is Peterson's, and it's just full of pictures and descriptions and maps, which are very important. You see a bird and say, oh, I know what that is, and you look. If you don't have a map that shows you where that bird is, you think it's that bird, and it's really only a bird in California and not anywhere else. So a little map will give you an idea of where the bird's located. And in this particular one, it shows you its winter range and its summer range and gives you a better way to identify the bird. And a lot of field guides, especially this one, will give you things like silhouettes of what birds. You might not be able to see the color, but you can see what it looks like in silhouette. And this one also has some helpful hints in the front, what to look for. Don't just look at the bird overall, but look at its bill shape. Look at the color patches, where they are. Look at whether it's got a top knot on it. And that helps you narrow down what bird you're looking at.
And they also will even tell you things like the flight. So you can identify a bird just by its flight. I think that's so interesting because sometimes it is hard to tell, just especially if the colors are kind of muted, like, what they are. But a lot of times their flight or their song will give it away.
Song is really important. And a lot of people get into the song, and you don't even have to see the bird if you're very familiar with the songs. But this is kind of adds to the fun of the hobby and intrigue of the hobby. You can start trying to identify these guys. Keep a little list of how many birds you've seen in your yard, what birds you've seen in your yard. And here's another field guide. It's one of the ones I use a lot. This one has all the birds in the United States. The one I showed you before, it comes in two versions. This one is for the eastern United States. There's a complementary version that goes for the western birds in the western United States. And this one covers all the birds throughout the United States. And it's also a very good field guide. It has maps, it has descriptions, and they're both great. There's several others out there that are just as good. But that makes a wonderful gift, too.
Oh, it is. That's great because there's so much information in it, and it's such a small investment for all the joy that you get back out of it.
Yeah. And you can see mine were well worn. I use them all the time.
Right.
And if you just keep them close to where your binoculars are, close to where you're going to see the birds, just pick it up and look, and you'd be surprised how quickly you'll be able to identify the birds out there.
And then you can sound kind of smart in
Absolutely.
front of your friends.
Yeah, you can impress them, say, that's a whatever. Yeah. Oh, really? Yeah.
So Richard had some great ideas for all the things that you can get that birder in your life, from feeders to feed, birdhouses, binoculars, and field guides. Well, in this next video, Richard he demonstrates a few more products, and he also goes into more detail about how you can pair these products up with food and which types of birds you'll attract with certain feeders as well. So here's Richard. This is beautiful. I love this
It's not
feeder.
a standard tube type feeder.
Yeah.
It's much easier to use in a way, and much easier to keep clean. And birds love it. You just throw things into the bowl.
Mm-hmm.
It's called the Bountiful Bowl. And the birds just sit up here and eat.
Yeah.
And you can see the birds very well on here also.
Well, wait, before you take that away, show the real beauty of this and how you can
This
decide
right
who
here
gets to eat.
is movable, the little rain guard and cover.
Uh-huh.
If you really start having problems with the grackles come in and larger birds, you want to slow them down, just drop this way down like this. The birds will, small
The
birds
little
will
bitty
hop right up
ones,
here and
yeah.
eat. The big birds will have a lot more trouble. You can even come down here and the small chickadees and things can get up in there and get their food. The big birds will have a real hard time getting to the food.
Yeah.
It helps deter the large birds.
Right.
And I love
That's
these
a great
things.
thing about that.
It's one of the feeders in my repertoire that I keep. I wouldn't be without one.
Just easy to use, clean, hang. Yeah.
Yes, and there's some neat things you can put in it. Not regular bird seed, but bird food, suet kibbles from Kohl's. by the
Yeah.
way. And it's a combination. You see, it's pelletized. It's like a pelletized suet. And these particular ones have berry parts in the pink ones, and they have mealworms, dried mealworms, insect parts into the cream colored ones. You just put it in a bowl, or put it on your deck railing. But it works very well in a bowl. And another feeder I'll show you in just a moment. Here's the dried mealworms, the type of thing that's also in one of the kibbles. Solid protein.
Right.
No muss, no fuss. They're not live. They're dried out. They smell really nice, like a nut flavor. They taste pretty good, too.
But don't eat them.
These are not for human consumption.
No.
But actually, these dried mealworms are used culinarily
Really?
on foods. They sprinkle them on there for a little accent. Not bad.
And the bluebirds love them, and you can mix the suet kibbles and the dried
Yes.
mealworms if you really want to get them, right? And you might put them in a feeder like that Bountiful.
Absolutely. Some people's favorite way to do it is to mix the two. A little of each. You can put those into the Bountiful Bowl, or you can get one of these. Another great gift, by the way, because it's not a standard tube feeder.
Yeah.
It's a feeder that you can put the suet kibbles and the mealworms in, or just either one, or both mixed. And the birds can hang and cling all over here because it's a wire mesh. They don't have to go to a particular port.
So you might have woodpeckers right alongside, just like
So
a
many different
bluebird or
birds.
anything.
You'll see, and
yeah.
because it's food that's not a hard seed, you'll get a lot of, in the summertime and all, when the warblers spring, the warblers and all will be on here. And in the wintertime, everybody else that's still here gets on here. And this one has the easy clean bottom.
Yeah.
And you can just look right through it's easy to clean, just hose it out.
Yeah. You said it's easier to clean even than a tube
It's
feeder.
easier than a tube feeder. Makes a great gift because it's different.
And the bottom just comes right off, too. I know you were going to demonstrate it on the other. Yeah,
Yeah,
it comes straight
it just
off.
makes it so easy to clean these things.
Yeah.
And put back on. That's a pretty neat feature.
That is a neat feature.
And let's see, the seed feeder. There we go.
I know you got your hands full today.
I do have my hands full. There we go.
There you go. It just pops in.
And this is one of the Kohl's tube feeders. And it's a standard tube feeder. There again, the
Pops
easy
right
clean
out,
bottom.
Right.
And I'll show this. Comes with a nice chart about which birds eat which seed and some
Very
little,
helpful. Yeah.
little plastic
Yeah.
perch guards. If you want your birds to have a nice, soft, cushiony thing to hold on to, or if
Yeah.
you're worried about it being cold, you put these on there. It comes with it.
Perfect.
And it's hard to beat a plain tube feeder. You put most kinds of seed in there, makes a great gift. It looks nice. Put a bow on it, it's ready to go.
Right.
And I don't know if anybody wouldn't like to have one of these.
Oh, absolutely.
It's the
They
basic.
do make, and then I think it's such a nice touch to go ahead and get some seed or something, a product to go ahead and put in it. So when you present the feeder, they already have something.
It makes a great gift combination. In
Right.
the seed, Cole's seed products, that and of course the Bountiful Bowl.
Right.
You could get one of each. It can be better. And some seed, and that makes a very unique, nice gift. And somebody's going to really enjoy getting that.
Yeah. And so,
Now-
last but not least, the Suet cake feeder.
Yeah, here I'll show a suet cake. This is one of the Cole's suet cakes. And you see them in the grocery stores and everywhere. And, of course, the finer merchants, you'll see the Cole's brand. And here is a feeder, a particular feeder that they fit in. You'll see all versions of this, some of them just a wire cage. This is called a woodpecker tail prop. And the reason it's called that is because it has this extension down here. So when the woodpecker comes up and lands, they have very short legs and a stiff tail for hanging on the side of trees, holding themselves up. So if there's nothing down here, they tend to hang upside down because they're used to holding themselves up with a tail. But with this, the woodpecker tail prop, they can sit here very comfortably and eat. So it's a good suet feeder, and it's designed to really help the woodpeckers hang on.
I have noticed that the suet feeders really attract the woodpeckers, but I never knew that was why.
That's one of the reasons. If you have this, they can just manipulate it much better. Another great gift idea is a package like this. One of everything would even be better.
So yeah, I don't think people had thought about this very much in the past, but I think it's becoming more and more popular. In fact, birding is the second largest growing hobby in the United States. Did you know that?
Soon to be number one if I can do anything about it.
It was just behind gardening, which is huge.
Yeah.
It's going to be hard
Gardening is huge, yeah.
It's going to be hard to beat that. So many great Kohl's products to choose from for that birder in your life. But if you know someone or if you've had trouble with the squirrels always getting to your bird seed, Kohl's years ago addressed this problem with these amazing hot products. They were the first to market with these types of things. It's habanero chili peppers that are infused into the product. So the birds can't taste it, but the squirrels can. And for the most part, the squirrels will stay away because it is so hot. So you can mix in that flaming squirrel seed sauce, or you can buy any of the hot products. But if all that is still maybe not working for you because your squirrels are just really hungry or because they keep thinking maybe there's something better up there and you've stopped using that, there is another thing in your arsenal, and Richard Cole actually invented this years ago. It's called the Tough Bird Feeder Guard.
Squirrels aren't the only ones. They're the biggest problem, but not the only ones that come to your feeders.
Right.
So,
there
look
it
at
is,
there.
surveillance camera. That's your video, right?
This is in my backyard. They're again on a shepherd-style pole, which is very hard to put a baffle on because they're short. But I'll show you how to get around that in a few
He's
minutes.
just having no problem.
None whatsoever.
None.
Just sitting there in the
Just
tray,
like enjoying
eating all of my bird
that,
seed.
like a little thief at your feeder. I love it.
So they'll be around too. Now, raccoons do not like hot meats. They don't like that heat either because they're mammals. They can taste it.
Yeah.
And it's a problem for them. So
So
use the hot
is that
meats.
what you did right after that? After you got that video?
I did.
Yeah.
I did. Now, on the baffles, I didn't mention one of them, and we're going to mention that right now.
Okay.
Because of that picture right there. At nighttime, the raccoons come.
The Tough Bird Feeder Guard. I love it.
Yeah, and this right here, we've shown this before. This is a device that simply clamps around your pole, even a little shepherd pole, which I mentioned, usually are too short to put a regular baffle on because they'll jump above the baffle. This right here, you put right under the feeder on the shepherd pole or bigger pole and turn it on. It's got a battery, and it clamps on the pole easily. It will shock the squirrel if it grabs this tube part right here. And it's got to grab this to climb, and when it does, it'll give it a little, we call it a training shock.
But it won't hurt.
No, it'll startle them. Yeah. It'll scare them. They'll jump. It's like the dog training collars. It's called the Tough Bird Feeder Guard. It's another way to stop them from getting up, especially the small poles, the shepherd poles that you can't use a bat fly.
Must have been somebody really smart that invented that.
It must have been. I'll give him credit.
And that is available for purchase, correct?
Absolutely, in a lot of locations.
Yeah. Yet another great and unique gift idea. You can find out about all of these products on the Kohl's website. That's kohlswildbird.com. And also, if you're going to give somebody a feeder, it's a great idea to go ahead and give some seed with that feeder. And Richard Kohl in this next video has some great ideas for combining feeders and feed. It might be suet, it might be seed, but anyway, Richard Kohl can tell you all about it. Now we want to go and show you a few items that you can put together to give either somebody who's never been a birder before or somebody you love who loves a bird. So we'll take a look at some of those. So we have this whole gift basket. Richard, you can't see it, but it's just a holiday gift basket, all kinds of great treats. And, you've got the hot meats in there, some feeders, the Hummer, I can't say it, the Hummer High Rise. So just tell me a little bit about how, people can kind of put these things together.
Well, it's so easy. I mean, you don't have to be too worried about it. If you get them a nice tube feeder, and tube feeder is wonderful, and pick out one of the seeds, like a special feeder. It's a mixed blend, and we have several others. You'll also see one called hot meats. That's hot sunflower meats. And it's a very special food that's pure sunflower meat that all the birds love. And it's infused with hot habanero chili pepper sauce, concentrated, which is very hot, but not to bird, only to mammals. So a lot of the animals around won't mess up your feeders, and you can feed the birds right there close by and see them without the animals messing up and destroying your feeder and eating all the seed. So, and there's several other types of food. We have one we even call critter munchies. And I love critter munchies because I have an open tray that I hang out back. Everybody can get into it. It's close to a railing, so the squirrel can jump right in. I don't mind that at all because the critter munchies are for the critters. There's peanuts in the shell and out of the shell and sun meats and a lot of goodies for them. So that's a whole different thing, but feeding all the animals as opposed to just the birds. And we have a whole line of feed for putting in tube feeders and other types of feeders just for the birds. Almost anything you pick with a nice feeder is going to make a nice gift. And now this right here, this is a nice gift.
This is the Godzilla. Yeah.
Yeah. This is just a great feeder, and it's with a tray and a dome on it. And you give that to somebody and a bag or two of seed, just several bags. And for Christmas, they're in business. It's not a lot of money, but it's a lot of fun. And you may be starting somebody on a whole new aspect of their life. And I will mention that it's kind of like your pets. I said that. But one of the great things about feeding the birds is you don't have to treat them like Fido or the cat. You don't have to get sitters for them when you're gone. You don't have to worry about if you can't get out and fill up the feeder at that. They'll be fine. They're wild animals. They're out there, but you can enjoy them and you can feed and interact with them all you want to without the hassles or the vet bills. And it's really a lot of fun.
So we've spent a lot of time talking about all the things that you can get for people or for yourself who already are enjoying birding. But my favorite video is actually one by Richard Kohl where he talked about how important it is to give a gift to somebody who may never have discovered birding, may never watch the birds and that kind of thing, and how your gift can kind of impact them and possibly change their life as it did with Richard Kohl, and you'll find out in this video. Did you know that birding is the second fastest growing hobby in America right now? Gardening's number one, but birding is number two. So many people are finding just the joy in, getting feed and birding. So let's talk about holiday gifts and why somebody might want to give a gift with like some bird seed and a feeder to somebody who's never fed the birds before. Like, let's talk about like how you can actually give a gift that would change a lifestyle.
Well, I got a gift a long time ago, a bird feeder. Wow. Talking about a life-changing experience. You start, and it's fun. And these little guys are like little pets. You can put out a bird feeder. It's not high maintenance. It's not terribly expensive, but it brings nature up close. And you get to share nature, and you get to help nature with what you're putting out, and you get to see them. And a lot of people find that just thrilling, exciting. It's fun to watch, and you feel like you're helping them. So by giving a bird feeder to somebody who doesn't necessarily feed birds now, it's not a terribly expensive gift or a hobby to get started. And you'd be surprised how many people are really going to just cling on to that and be so thankful that you did that for them.
So, Richard, I didn't realize that you were given a gift of a bird feeder, and that's what got you started with the birds. So you have to tell me a little bit more about that. Like, when was this? Because this literally changed your life. It changed your destiny, and I guess got you hooked. And do you remember who gave it to you?
Oh, yeah, a father-in-law.
Wow.
Yeah. So, and it's he was feeding birds, and he gave us the feeder, and we started feeding the birds, and it took many years after that. It's like, as we decided that some of the feed we was using wasn't very good, we got into, well, why not? And then one thing led to another over the years, and finally we started making our own bird seed, and the rest is history.
Yeah, we have a nice graphic that we wanted to show people just to kind of remind you to think about, like, just give this gift of birding. It can change somebody's life. It certainly changed Richard Cole's life. Certainly a gift that made an impact, and for all of us who are enjoying Cole's today. So we also want to tell you where you can find Cole's products. You could, go to any of the retailers in your area that sell Cole's and maybe get somebody a gift card and give the gift of Cole's. People will love you for it. And you can check out your local Ace Hardware or garden centers such as Pike Nursery. If you live in the Atlanta area, check out one of the 5 Birdwatcher supply stores. And you can find Cole's online. We do have a couple of online retailers. So if you don't want to get out and fight the crowd, just go online to donecraft.com or espenshades.com, and you can find Cole's products there. And you can also call the Birdwatcher Supply Store in Kennesaw. They will take orders over the phone and ship for you. And also, we did want to let you know where and how you can get a Cole's 2022 calendar. You can go to any of the Birdwatcher Supply stores. Now, the Birdwatcher Supply Store Christmas sale begins December 10th. The first 50 shoppers in any of their stores, any of the 5 stores, 50 shoppers, to purchase $50 or more will get a free Cole's calendar. And those calendars are just gorgeous. So I'm sure that people will be thrilled with that. And we do want to leave you with a video that shows you all of the pictures that made it into the Cole's calendar, the Cole's 2022 calendar. We want to thank everyone who submitted, and be sure to watch again. Richard Cole is here every first Wednesday of the month at 3 o'clock Eastern Time. Happy holidays.
Hello, this is Richard Cole. I want to thank each of you for watching, and I want you to subscribe to our YouTube channel, and don't forget to share it.